welcome, ladies and gentlemen. We have a special edition here of SE Live. I would like to introduce this lovely lady that is in front of us, and she has a beautiful story to tell today. All right.
Hello, everyone. My name is Mabel Tyler, and I am a servant of the Lord. And they're saying, tell my story. Well, it's not really my story. It's my God's story. And He's the one that leads me and guides me and tells me what to do, how to do it, when to do it, where to do it. So this story is not about me per se. It's about God giving me all of His instructions, giving me His assignments, and my trying my very best to do what He tells me to do and to go where He tells me to go. I am originally from Memphis, Tennessee, because that's where I was born. But like all parents back in those days, they migrate.
Did you live in Memphis, or?
I lived in Memphis with my mother and my father. I was an only child. And my mother and father, we lived in the projects. And my grandma, my big mom, and my big dad lived on the other side of town. And because I was an only child, my mom and dad would let me go and spend weekends with them. And during those times that I was there, in the summer, during those times I was with them, on their front porch they had a long concrete banister, and I would sit on that banister for hours and hours and sing and daydream and think about all the things that the Lord and I would be doing. That we're going to do this, we're going to do that, we're going to do this, and I'm going to sing for you, my Lord God. And that's how I started singing.
So your love for singing became real at a very young age.
At a very young age.
And were you able to do that at school, or
well,
was it
yes,
more?
Because of the migration, my father and my mother, they migrated. They jumped a little bit and stayed in Washington for a month or so, and then they moved on to General Motors in Michigan. And because of that, I was enrolled in a Catholic school, St. Joseph's, and there, I did learn all the different scholastic things, but they taught me how to sing, and not only how to sing in English, I sang in Latin. And all the songs that we were doing, we were always singing Latin, especially Mass every day, we would sing in Latin. And my favorite song that I learned to sing was Ave Maria. I could sing Ave Maria in my sleep. I'd sing it all through the daytime in Latin. And then as I grew older, someone gave me a manuscript of Ave Maria in English, and I was not able to sing it.
So you were in Michigan at this point, okay? You fall in love.
Yes, and I married my first husband, and because of General Motors, laying off and hiring and calling back again, we traveled around, going to different places looking for work, and as he would call them back, we would come back to our roots there in Michigan. Rolling around different cities like Los Angeles, California, Pennsylvania and York, Pennsylvania, and all different cities that we would just, if we would go there and stay maybe 3 or 4 months.
What was it like having two boys?
Well, I was blessed.
Two boys?
I was really blessed because my mother was such a beautiful lady. I had finished high school. In my senior year of high school, I became pregnant, and my mother was like, "You're my daughter, and I'm taking care of you." And I lived right there with my mother. And when I got pregnant with the 2 children, I stayed right there with my mother. My mother was with me all the time. She stayed with me until I married. And in fact, when I married my husband, she stated that I want to raise these 2 children myself. And she said, because I want you to start your marriage, your new marriage, the 2 of you. And that's what we did. She raised my 2 sons, and I married, and my husband, because of General Motors, we were going from these different states, because she did not want my 2 sons to be going from city to city to city, traveling, not knowing what we were going to do. So my mother raised my 2 sons.
And what are their names?
Tyrone and Lloyd.
And what is Tyrone like, and what is Lloyd like?
Oh, my. They are beautiful sons. They are beautiful sons. Call me twice a day. Call me twice a day. You okay? Are you okay? Fun. They're very beautiful sons. They both have beautiful wives. and it's just good. But they're both of them are retired now. The same, all my children are retired.
In that marriage, you had 4 kids. What was the tribe like?
Oh, well, they were mischievous, but they did everything together. Wherever Gregory said, Don would be right there with them. They'd be going all over the place doing things. I don't know if you want to put, have to put it. I remember one time they decided, for some reason, I don't know, something made them mad or whatever, they were going to leave home. Remember that, Donald?
Oh, yeah.
They were going to leave home. And they got the little bag, I don't know what kind of bag they had. They put their little stuff in the bag, and they were just going to run away, And so our place had a long driveway. And so my husband and I were sitting and we were watching them, we just gonna leave, So, okay. So they goes out and they start walking down this long road to get up to the road, the highway there. When the guy was there, for some reason, he turned and come back. We changed our mind. We think we're gonna do it tomorrow. And we laughed.
You got to a point where you felt like you needed to become independent. What was that like for you?
It wasn't so much as becoming independent. It was the fact that when the Lord stopped me when I was sleeping that morning, and He stopped me, and He asked me the question, here you are, sweeping this floor, and you have these 4 children. What would happen if something happened to their father? How are you going to take care of them? How are you going to support them? What are you going to do? You're out here in this country doing nothing but sweeping the floor. You need to change your life. You need to do what I tell you. I have an assignment for you to do, and I need for you to do it now. And that's what I did.
You're like, okay, I need to be independent.
Right.
So what are some of the things that you started to do?
Well, first of all, like you said, you're out here in this country, you don't even know how to drive. What are you going to do? So everybody in town knew my situation. So he said, well, you ready to go? I said, yeah. I said, well, you need a car. He said, but I sell new Cadillacs. He said, well, I'll call my friend in the used car business. And he called his friend in the used car business, and they got me a car. And from there, I got a job, and I worked.
What kind of car was it?
It was an old Chevrolet.
Chevy?
Mm-hmm. I started off as a switchboard operator. And they had hired me in one of the biggest distribution centers there in Saginaw. And from there, I was promoted to the assistant director of personnel there. And from there, that's where I was earning. I was so proud because I was earning $6,000 a year. I was making good money. Me and the kids, basically. And I was divorced from my husband. Okay. God was leading me in everything that I do. He leads me, he tells me what to do.
You get a divorce eventually, and where do you go from there?
So then I met Mac, my husband, my second husband, and he was an assistant pastor at Bday in the church in Saginaw, and we were married. And then from there, the bishop transferred us to Canada. And we pastored in Canada for approximately 14 or 15 years. One of the speakers was brought in was Martin Luther King Sr. And because our home was nice, so the church decided that they would use my home to entertain dignitaries. And they would assign 4 young ladies you come in to serve and everything. So Martin Luther King Sr. was one of the guests that came.
Martin Luther King?
Sr., yes. And I remember when we were all having dinner at the table, one of the others that was sitting at the table asked him, Pastor, you've lost your daughter, you've lost your son, you've lost your wife, you've lost your grandchild, whatever. You've had all this left in your family. How do you live, go on? How can you survive? And his answer was, I thank God for what I have left. Because He has blessed me with my grandchildren. He said, when I start feeling sad, I can put my grandchild on my lap and hug and kiss and play. I can go to my daughter and we can hug and kiss and play. He says, God has blessed me with so many blessings that I have left.
So now we're headed to Florida now. We're in Florida. What's it like in Florida? And this is in the 80s or 90s?
Yes.
Okay.
Yes, because we moved to Florida in 1999. And I guess, the thing about Florida, I guess really, I just couldn't believe that I was in a place where there was no more snow and no more cold weather. But other than that, I mean, like, every place that God sent me, I was always thankful, and he always did a little better than where he left me from, you know. And so I was just so active there working. I didn't really have time to think about where I lived or whatever I did, because I was working at the church, you know. I was over the missionaries. I was over the choir. I was just working hard in the church, basically. And my husband was the assistant there. But just people ask me now, do you miss Florida? No, I don't miss Florida. I miss my friends and love that I see, but I don't miss where I've come from. Where every place that he sent me, I just like being where I am. So I don't miss where I've gone. I don't go back and miss where he took me from, because he's got too much work for me to do.
So you leave Florida, and how long were you in Florida for?
About 10 or 11 years.
So you were there for a decade.
We went to Florida in 1999. I came here in 2013.
So the one thing you loved about Florida?
I guess I just serving the Lord, basically.
Serving
the places, you know. It was just wherever the church where I was. I loved the people. I loved working there at the church. That's what I love. Wherever I am, that's what I love, basically.
Okay, so and what did you hate about Florida?
Oh, those little black bugs. To this day, I think about, you think you might want to go back? No, because those little black bugs are still there. No, I don't want to go back to Florida. Sometimes I think, if I became a millionaire, would I move back to Florida? Because I wouldn't have to worry about fighting whatever. And then I think about those black bugs. I said, no, I would not go back, because those little black bugs are still there.
All your kids are grown now, right?
Yes.
At this point, they want you to come to Ohio.
Yes.
We understand why, you know, your kids are your kids. They're all, you know, you're always going to take care of them for sure. But why did you come to Ohio?
The only ever reason is why I came to Ohio is because the Lord told me he had a job here for he wanted me to do, and I came to Ohio. And I did the job that he wanted me to do. When I did the one assignment that he gave me to do, he said, it's time, stop this. I got another job for you to do. He gave me that. That's the only reason that I came. Not because of my children, though I love being with my children. No, I can go visit my children anytime. I can get on a plane and visit them anytime. They can come see me anytime. No, I came here because, and when he brought me here, when he takes me someplace, he sits me in a place where I have no reason to say, well, I don't have this, because he puts everything here for me. He provides transportation for me. He blesses me with the best of everything that he gives me. And that's why I do it.
And you know your kids love you.
And I know my kids love me. And I love them, yes. I love them, but I love my God most. Okay.
The job?
The job that he gave me, okay.
What was the job that God gave you?
The job that he gave me, he had told me, first job that he gave me was to be over the class leaders. And and the pastor gave me that job, and he gave it to me. And I was doing that job, and I was happy doing the job. And he said, now it's time for you to stop. I have another job for you to do. He said, our seniors are in the church. They need a leader. He said, I want you to take me through that. And that's when I started the Owls Ministry. That's older, wiser, livelier senior saints of Wayman.
And who was the pastor?
Gerald Cooper.
And what was he like? What's he like?
An excellent pastor.
Over the course of your journey, you've had the experience of dealing with a lot of different churches or organizations, right? Is there a common denominator?
Well, when you say a common denominator, Bethel Saginaw was my home church. That was where I married my husband. That was where my son Donald led us to join the AME church. That's where we started in the AME church, was at Bethel Saginaw. That was the beginning of the African Methodist Episcopal Church leadership and working with them. From there, every church that I've worked with is always good and better. All of them.
I said, isn't that ironic? I drawed you to Wayman also.
Yes, because that's how I got to be Wayman also, because of him. When I came here, he was a member of Wayman at AME, and that's how I stayed here with Wayman at Wayman. Yes.
90?
Yes, I'm 90.
And you're moving and shaking.
90 in 3 weeks.
Yes. Give me 3 words what this journey has been like for you.
Beautiful, blessed, holy, magnificent, wonderful. I know I gave you more than 3.
Anything you want to say to the people who support you?
Yes. To all of my men and women, my seniors, I want to say this. Every one of us has a gift, a talent that God has given to us. We don't even know. You may not know what it is, or you may know what it is. Use it in God's service. That's why I gave it to you. Use everything that you have, even the smallest thing. Serve God with all your heart, soul, mind, and body. Let Him lead you and guide you and tell you what He wants you to do. You may have doubts. You may think, oh, I can't do it. But God will give you the gift, give you the talent, whatever that He plans for you to do. He has a job for you to do. He has an assignment. I always say assignment. He has an assignment for you to do. Open your hearts, open your mind, open your body to do that assignment and serve Him, and He will bless you beyond all measure.
What's your final message to?
I guess my final message to everyone out there, young lady who's out there, maybe you may be thinking about it, a young man out there, maybe thinking about it, whatever. When God puts something on your mind to tell you to do, don't fight it. Give over and let God take it, and God will work with it. God will take you and tell you exactly what He wants you to do, how He wants you to do it. He will open doors that you thought will never be open. He will close doors that you need to be closed. But just give in and let Him take total, complete control over your whole life. And you will be amazed at all the miracles that He'll work in your life. Okay.
Hello, Sister Tyler. We wish we could be there with you.
Actually, we wish she was here with us.
Yeah, as you have been in the past.
But in all sincerity, we thank God for the celebration of this milestone birthday that you're having today.
And we wish you God's richest blessings. We love you. Happy birthday.
Amazing grace, how sweet the sound that saved a wretch like me. I once was lost, but now am found. Was blind, but now I see. 'Twas grace that
Mom, on behalf of our siblings, my brothers and sisters, Tyrone, Lloyd, Greg, myself, Robin, and Karen,
Yes.
we are presenting you with this holiday cheer on your birthday, on your 90th, and we would like for you to give your journey on what it's like for you to go through your 90 years of birthday, and I want you to carry it from here. Happy birthday, Mother.
Thank you, my love. Thank you, my baby.